Yeah, all good. All good. It's a beautiful late spring evening here. Just gone for a nice, peaceful walk. And I was doing a bit of reflecting on resetting after a mistake in football. Resetting as sort of quick as you can in that sort of second or two after making an error in football. Whether it's sort of like missing an opportunity to score a goal or losing the ball or a misplaced pass. Resetting for me is really important, because if the sort of mistake carries on with you, it's going to affect you through the game. And one of the things that sort of comes to mind for me is it's the process that I learned over the years. And like I always say, I'm not giving anyone advice or making suggestions, just my own anecdotal experience and my own thoughts around the process to be able to reset. And it centers around sort of, okay, you make the mistake, accepting it's happening, it's happened. Don't rerun it over your head. You've missed that opportunity to score, you've misplaced a pass or whatever. It's sort of acknowledge it's happened, then move on from it mentally. Even maybe take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, so you sort of missed that shot at target, misplaced that pass, whatever. Taking a deep breath and even having a cue word like refocus to bring your attention back to the here and now, or maybe like a wristband, so like an anchor cue to get back into that here and now as well. And then focus on the next action, one thing you can control. So, okay, you've made a mistake, you've missed the opportunity to score, misplaced the pass, or you've made an error, and then you accept that it's happened, you move on from it in that first second or so, perhaps taking a deep breath, exhale, an anchor, a cue, a word, refocus, and then start focusing on the next action. The next action could be, closing down, next action is making a run, sprinting back into shape. The next action, the next action is key. And I think for me, in my experience over the years, it's the players who perform under pressure aren't the ones who don't make mistakes. Everyone's going to make a mistake, no matter what level you play, who you are, how skilled you are. Every player's going to make a mistake. One of the key things for me is that recovery time. And I think that can be worked on, that recovery time. That's something that we can sort of work on, made the error, so move on from there. I sort of, shared this with different players and teams I worked with over the years. And to be honest, the first time I sort of learned to move on after sort of a mistake, reset and refocus, was when I was sort of doing some Thai boxing many years. In the early 90s, I was sort of training fantastic trainer, and he sort of taught me at that point to just reset, refocus. If you sort of make an error, something to sort of go to plan, just accept it, take a breath, like a cue word, and move on, focus on the next action. So I kind of learnt it all the way back then at a fantastic trainer. It was at the Mundine Gym in Everleigh Street in Redford. I used to go up there every week or 2 times a week with my mate Jason, and basically would go there, we'd train and do some sparring and other stuff. I also joined another Thai boxing place too, nearer to where I live, type thing, and it was quite a useful experience. I think that was sort of my first real insight into sort of navigating, resetting and sort of like refocusing as well. But they're my sort of thoughts, that I'd like to share. So, for example, and I think it's useful to sort of be familiar with the process, even in training, practicing training, so that make a wrong decision, a wrong pass, or touch, whatever, or you've gone to strike a ball. And I think practicing resetting immediately in training is a good way to learn a habit. So when you get into a game, then you're on it straight away. So for me, remember, okay, bad pass, wrong decision, you accept it, and then perhaps take a breath, cue word, refocus, even an anchor, cue, and then, okay, well, next action, sprint back into shape, close down, make a run, the next opportunity. So then you're going into a sort of a clear mind. But that's my take on it. Perhaps you might have some other thoughts. Always great to sort of share insights, but that's just my take on it.